Thank you, Miss Gwen. Good morning, everyone. Say good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Sarai Cornegay. I'm the president of the Youth Cabinet here at the Stewart Foundation. I just want to welcome you guys to the Stewart Foundation's Women History Month program. And before we get started, I would like to remind everybody to please silence your phones. We apologize for the delay, and I would like to introduce Asher Harris, our event coordinator, to pray us in.
Good morning, everyone. Please close your eyes and bow your head. Heavenly Father, Most High, thank you for bringing us all here today safely to celebrate one of the greatest gifts you have given us in this world. Women, thank you for all the beautiful and amazing grandmothers, mothers, aunties, sisters, and daughters. Thank you for letting us gather here today in your name. Thank you for letting us have a blessed day. Amen.
Okay, so now I am going to present a short presentation regarding the health disparities against women and women of color. Um, I should be pulling it up shortly. While we're waiting, I'm going to say hi to all the first time visitors here. If you could raise your hand. Hi. Um, yeah, let's give it up for them. I know it was cold this morning, but we appreciate you guys for coming out and supporting us. And so we want to make sure you guys have all the information to join the Stewart Foundation. You could go to the stewartfoundation.com and get your membership card to participate in all of our further events. We're ages, I believe, 8 to 18, and then after 18, we have a young adult program as well. And You could always come back and volunteer. Um, we do so many great things here at the foundation, and especially our big event in June, our Youth White Linen. We would love for all of you guys to come out. We have such a fun time, and there's so many things you get to learn, hear from many different speakers. So I encourage you guys to mark your calendars and save the date. Yes. I started when around, I think the summer before 10th grade, I started off as just a member. And then as you go throughout your membership, you attend a certain number of events, you're eligible to run for office. And so I heard about it from one of my friends. And the first event I went to was the Youth White Linen. And that's really what sold us. We had a great time, won prizes, got to meet so many different people, and eventually attend all the events. I brung more friends as well, and I was able to run for secretary and now the president. And a big, yeah, a big plus. Everything here is free. There's no cost, and you get all the benefits. I promise you guys, ninth grade, I was shy. I would not be up here talking to you. Um, but throughout the course of this program, I'm so much more comfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable being up here, speaking to you guys, speaking at other events. Um, I had the pleasure of speaking at Ms. Nonan Clayton's her statue unveiling last week, and I also during our white linen that year, or last summer, I should say, I had the opportunity of escorting her. We got to pick her up from her house and got to engage in conversation with her through the limo ride back to the White Lemon. So there's just so many benefits, and you grow as an individual. That's a good question. What inspired me? Really being, finding my voice, discovering it really, and then being more comfortable with it. I wanted to do a lot more with that, and I was seeing all the other past officers, and I definitely wanted to use my voice to advocate for things that I believe in, such as this presentation that I'm going to present to you guys today. Coming up, we have our multicultural next month, and then in May, um, in April, that's our multicultural, I believe, and then May we do network building. In June, we focus on etiquette, which is our white linen to prepare you guys for that. Some of our past events as well. We have quarters, so the first 3 months of the next year will be focused on the election and then health and wellness. So we have our health fair, games down, activities up, which is always really fun. And one of my personal favorites, our community service events. We went to nursing home. We got to talk to the elderly, and just share stories with them. Some of them don't have any visitors at all, and it was really important seeing everybody, seeing all the love in the room from that event, and yeah. Sure, yes. Does anybody? Okay. What about you? Where are you from, or what school? What about you? Oh, that's cool. Nice to meet you. Okay, so this is my presentation. As a future and aspiring medical professional, one of the crises that are very near and dear to me is the Black maternal health crisis, and that is I focus on health. That's really one of my biggest focuses during my term as presidency. The health of my cabinet and encouraging, spreading the word, bringing about awareness to all sorts of health crises, such as the mental health, the Black maternal crisis, and yeah. So the issue is Black women have the highest death rate when giving birth, and even after giving birth. So after pregnancy complications. They tend to have more complications than any other race, and when speaking up about their pain, they're told that they are overreacting. Black women are also not treated equally in the healthcare industry, as well as other women of color. And so, really, by educating our community about the dangers of pregnancy, we can decrease the risk, increase awareness, and by doing that, we will be able to reach women, future mothers, by protecting, offering services, and our support that will help them feel more comfortable during their pregnancy. So, medical racism, it's the widespread racism against people of color in the healthcare system. Health coverage, you may hear of people not having insurance. This also includes the bias that healthcare workers hold against us. Many people are surprised to see that it does not just begin at the hospital. It happens in the workplace, in our communities as well. An example would be a lot of you guys may have heard of asthma and how that affects people of color, especially children. And really, it begins in the community when, it's very polluted. In the cities, the air quality is not great, but in white suburban areas, it's completely different. As well as in the workplace, generally, as history has told us, Black people, people of color, women of color, have experienced racism. And so the stress of that also applies in the healthcare field. We are more susceptible to stress, specifically that stress. And that leads to all kinds of heart problems, hypertension, and anxiety, and other mental health issues. So, specifically, how it affects Black women. Even with access to healthcare, we are still discriminated against. While white healthcare workers continue to disbelieve Black women when expressing their medical needs. So, a positive attribute of many Black women, we're strong, we're powerful, we can do it. But in the healthcare setting, it turns into they have a high pain tolerance. And so many Black women are disbelieved when expressing their medical needs. An example would be Serena Williams. When she was pregnant, she was suffering from a pulmonary embolism. She was very high, which is a blood clot, and it can kill you. And she practically had to beg for a CT scan because the doctors, the nurses, they didn't believe her. And she said, no one was really listening to what I was saying. And it's really important. It doesn't just happen with celebrities, and it could happen to people that you know, and unfortunately, we hope that it could happen to you in the future. So here are some statistics. You can see Black women, again, the highest rate of pregnancy-related deaths. It's around 41 per 100,000 live births. And in general, the U.S. maternal mortality rate is continuing to increase. This is 2018, 2019, 2020. We're now in 2023, and it is still trending. And so we really want to bring awareness to this. Allison Felix, she was also suffered from a condition called preeclampsia, which Black women are susceptible to during pregnancy. And she was able to go to Congress and relay her ideas and her opinions, and we really want to bring awareness to this issue so that we can help in a sense that when you bring awareness to this issue, medical professionals are heard, and we can establish more women of color in the healthcare system, specifically in the hospitals and even in pre-hospitals. Myself, I actually want to study neuroscience in college, but right now I am training as an EMT so that I can be on the front lines so I can really stop this from happening if it ever happens in my presence. So another, thank you. So some more statistics. The number black women in the US are 3 times more likely than women of any other race to die from pregnancy or childbirth. And then in the US, black pregnant people are 5 times more likely to die from preeclampsia than white pregnant women. So, some ways that you can help. Black Maternal Health Week is recognized on April 11th through the 17th, so you can mark your calendars. And you can also follow this Instagram that I run. It's called Serving Women Abroad. It's a group that I started called Swag. I just try to get the information out in events, fundraisers, and ways that you can donate. You can follow the Instagram there. And another resource is org. It's a really good informational website where they have the political standpoint and they also have the physical, and you can learn more about this condition. And that's it. So thank you guys. Now I'm going to bring up my vice president, Benjamin Jones. He's going to be playing the saxophone and he's going to be playing Lift Every Voice.
Okay, so it's an arrangement by Florida A&M University that I'll be playing. So somebody. Hello, testing. Okay, we're live. It is my honor. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is my honor to introduce the electrifying Lynn Von Van. Oh, Angela Reed. My apologies. I'm so sorry. Angela Reed. Got a little too excited. My bad.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to make an announcement. If any of the young people here have not gotten a book off the table, please do that before you leave. I tried to bring several books that honor the women who have represented us throughout the years, throughout the generations in our country. I just want to share some of those books with you today. For those of you who know me, the only sport that I am just excited about is women's basketball, and now we're in March Madness. But I did find a book about the real U.S. Dream Team. This women's team, beginning back in the 70s, 80s, won more gold medals, medaled more in the Olympics than any American basketball team has ever done. So this is the real Dream Team. Another aspect of women in our country, some of you are just beginning to hear about the 6888, who were a women's WAC unit who served in Europe and England and France during World War II. I think there are only 3 of them that are alive now, but there is a bill up in Congress, in both the House and the Senate, to make sure that they get medals of honor. There is a statue where in Kansas, I believe, that represents these women who sorted the mail for soldiers all throughout World War II, and in England, starting off in England and then serving in France. And one of my high school classmates, a retired lieutenant colonel from the Army, Edna Cummings, actually is responsible for a documentary movie that is out now about the 6888. So this is, if any of you young people want this book, you're welcome to have it. Anybody wants it? I said young folks. If no one else wants it, since you're our guest speaker, you're welcome to have it. And this is also a book about a North Carolina member of the 6888. It's called Dubby Undaunted. This woman, after she served during World War II in the 6888, she went on to get her law degree, and she served as a lawyer, and then got her degree and served as a minister. She's from North Carolina. She was from North Carolina. And this is a book about her, which is available if anybody wants to see me afterward, any young folks. This is a book about Jackie Orms, who was a cartoonist. And most people don't know that there was a black female cartoonist who made it big in this country. Some of you know of Nina Simone. There are a couple of picture books written about her. What I knew her from, first of all, was singing Lift Every Voice, not Lift Every Voice to Sing, but Young, Gifted, and Black. When I was in high school and we first moved to North Carolina, every black radio station either began their programming with Lift Every Voice and Sing and ended it at the end of the day with Young, Gifted, and Black, Nina Simone's version of it. How many of you have ever heard of Sweet Honey in the Rock? Well, during the Civil Rights Movement, they were a music group who sang all women, and they had a song called Ella's Song, and it was about Ella Baker. I know one of the beginning of it is, until the killing of black men was taken seriously like the killing of others, and basically the song says that we are not free, we are not finished, we still have to work to make sure that we're treated properly and rightfully in this country. So this is a book about Ella Baker. And another civil rights standout, a lot of you, they used to call her the sweet potato lady, sweet potato pie lady. During the movement in Montgomery, this woman organized women all over Montgomery, Alabama to bake and sell baked goods to support the Montgomery bus boycott. Her name was Georgia Gilmore, and this is actually the second picture book I found about her. And the last book I just want to highlight, which is a recent printing, it's called Stand Up, and it highlights 10 women. Some of them you see the names on the back. Some of you have heard of them, some of you have not heard of, who are 10 mighty women who made a change. And I will close with bottom line. Women have always been part of our lives. Women have been a very important part of our lives, and a lot of us don't know about the women who've made a difference. And it's our responsibility to learn about them and to model them and to make a difference in someone's life. You heard our president come up here and say how she wants to make a difference in our lives in this country. Well, that's your challenge and your charge today. And I will close with this quote. A strong woman is one who feels deeply and loves fiercely. Her tears flow just as abundantly as her laughter. A strong woman is both soft and powerful. She is both practical and spiritual. A strong woman, in her essence, is a gift to the world. Like you to be that gift.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready for an enlightening experience from Mrs. Lynn Von Van.
Thank you, thank you. Right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. That was lovely, 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 lovely. Oh my, I'm so happy to be with you this morning. I have enjoyed the program more than I'm going to enjoy talking to you. Which one is it? Okay. To see such um, mature, sophisticated, smart young people like the vice president and the president of the foundation just warms my heart. Smart is good. Okay? Smart is good. Okay. Even though my introductory video told you a little bit about me, I like to got it? Okay. I like to do my little PowerPoint because one of the things that young people I think, don't necessarily understand is how we get to where we want to be. And sometimes it looks like people think you just came out of the womb being a celebrity or being an anchor or being a singer or a baseball player, whatever. But you don't. We start just like you. This is called You Are the Lead Story. I was born in Ruston, Louisiana in 1951. Figure, how old am I? 71. About to be 72 in May. And I want you to know that. They used to tell, I grew up and my aunt said, oh, never tell your age, never tell your age, because women are judged as useless as they get older. But I just wanted you to know that we're not. I grew up in a little town called Natchitoches, Louisiana. It's the home of the movie Steel Magnolias. My mom moved the three of us, my sister and I and my mom, to Los Angeles when I was 10, moved back to Louisiana to go to a boarding school in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is now on the National Registry of Historic Places. And we're going to try to restore it because it's closed down. It's called Holy Rosary Institute. And I was the salutatorian of the class of 1967. Graduated at the age of 15 and started UCLA at the age of 16. Do these look like anybody you know? Do they? Looks like your moms and dads and, well, not dads, but your your moms and aunts and grandmothers. I do this because this is how we started out. That's me and my little sister Kara. She's no longer with us, but that's us poking out of our car, and that's me, and that's me. And this is my favorite. This is Mama, my mom, right here, has me on stage with her. This is my Aunt Shirley. This is my Uncle Spike. and these are all people in the little community of Natchitoches, Louisiana. My mom and dad were teachers, so reading was very important in our household. And I just love that picture, and I'm sitting there like I know what I'm doing, but I had no idea. Next. So, the important message today is that you get to create who you are. You are here because we, the elders, love you. We love you. You are here. We are here because we love you, and you are here, and that means we love you. And I just want you to remember that. Ephesians says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for that's what is expected of you. Honor your father and mother. First commandment, to carry a promise with it, that it may go well with you and that you may have a long life on earth. Now, there are 18 to 21 years of childhood. Cherish it, enjoy it, because after that, you got to carry the load. And many decades of carrying the load. See, if I graduated from college at 19 and 20, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Listen, you got to carry the load. So enjoy your childhood. Take advantage of what's being offered to you. Embrace it and enjoy it. Because you're going to be grown soon enough. That means paying your own light bill. That means paying the gas bill. That means finding a place to live, having transportation. So enjoy your childhood and appreciate what people are doing for you now. Now, how do you do that? Through the discipline of obedience. You create who you become. From that little girl standing in front of the piano and sitting on the stage with her mama and aunt and uncle, this is what I chose to do. I love to read. I love news, even to this day, and I don't have a current broadcast journalism job, but even to this day, I love to read. I love to keep up with what's going on in the world. Now, I am not a social media fan because I think that it does more harm than good, particularly to young people. It takes your mind away from stuff that matters, and it gives you a whole array of stuff that doesn't matter. When the TikTok dance or challenge or whatever the heck it is gone, it won't be anything. It doesn't mean anything. But if you write a poem, if you write a song, if you read a book and learn something, that stays with you the rest of your life. So be careful what you put in your being. Be careful what you put inside of you. And try to avoid the nonsense. Try to avoid it if you can. Now, this is the message that I kind of get in trouble with sometimes, but it's just really important to me, and I'm going to give it, and we'll see what happens. There is a rhythm and order in life that positions you to become successful. You must become educated. That's what we're talking about today, and you guys are already on your way, so you know that part already. Then you find a way, once you get your education, you find a way to take care of yourself. No more living with mom and dad and aunts and uncles, but find a way to be an independent adult. Then you partner. That is, engage in the process of seeking a life partner. Then you marry. And then you bring life into the world. You don't bring life into the world without a partner. Because children need moms and dads. Now, I'm not saying my parents were divorced. My father was an alcoholic. He was brilliant. Let's see how to say this. But anyway, they were divorced shortly after my sister was born, and she's 2 years younger than I. So it's not that it can't be done. It can be done. Single moms and dads do it all the time, but it's not the optimum way to do it. You need the support. First of all, the parents need the support of each other. And then the children need the support of both parents. It's not just boys who need their dads. Girls need their fathers. I got married at the ripe old age of 51. I didn't get to have biological children. I told my godmother that I was going to have a baby by myself if I didn't get married by the time I was 35. She politely told me very calmly, she said, "We don't do that in this family." That was it for me. I was done. And so my husband, who I'd like to introduce, Wesley. Wesley Sawyer Van. And listen, you guys, if you've got any questions about guy stuff, he worked at Norfolk State University in the administration and student affairs department, and so he can talk to the fellows if you have any questions. But I'm not saying to do it that way, because I really wish I had had biological children. But my husband has 2 daughters who are both college educated, and each one of them has 2 daughters. The older one has a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old. 17, 18, okay. And then the younger one, who lives here in Atlanta, has a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. The older one's husband, she got married, but it didn't work. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's got to work, it's got to be magic and any of that. But try your best. Try your best to do it in order, and then you really do give yourself a leg up on being successful. Okay, next. Now, never mind. We don't need to see. I did that part because that's just the statistics about when you don't marry and you have children, what your chances are of and how things work for you. Okay, children raised in intact married families more likely to attend college and all of that. You guys can figure all that out. Okay, keep going. Okay, so that is the important message that I have for you today. Please, 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 please do it in order. Please be loving and giving to your parents and appreciate what it is they're doing for you. And this foundation, I have never seen students so sophisticated and charming and this is the kind of activity that ought to be interesting to everybody. So my message is, you're here because you are loved, and we do love you, and we are here because we do love you. You do matter. No matter what Donald Trump says, black people do matter, and we do care about each other, and we have an obligation to take care of. Okay? So I love you much, and thank you so much.
Before I go ahead with the questions that I have prepared, I would like to ask the audience if y'all have any questions for her. Anybody? All right.
Who said no? Oh, there. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Stand, please, and tell me your name. Daniel? Oh, Nathaniel. Okay, nice to meet you. my husband talks a lot about shame. He says we don't have shame anymore. And when I told you a little story about my godmother saying to me, we don't do this in this family, we used to never, ever, ever want to shame our parents. They worked too hard, they did too much for us, and we didn't want to bring shame on the family. So that's always been a motivating factor for people in my generation. The other thing is, I learned, as you are learning, that I had value. And so every time in my life at CNN, at UCLA, wherever, when somebody told me that I didn't have value, I fought harder. I pushed harder to get what I needed to get. I moved to New York and got into radio as a gopher, they call it there, fetching coffee. Now, people don't want to take entry-level jobs now, but I took an entry-level job. I used to drive a big truck. Now, you see how tiny I am. And I used to drive a big truck in the morning because then you could still smoke in newsrooms and stuff. And so these guys wanted cigarettes, coffee, blah, 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 the anchor people. And so I'd sit on some phone books, get in the big truck, and go find whatever it was they wanted. But in the meantime, I learned how to do news. I learned by watching and learning, and then that job promoted me into radio broadcasting in Boston. And then in Boston, I went into television. So it's self-love and the support of family and friends and your community. We're expecting something from you, Nathaniel. I don't know what it is. Only you know what it is. But we have expectations that you are going to carry on everything that we've laid out for you. By the way, I have to say, I really love the prayer. Where's the young man who did the prayer? Oh, that's okay. Because he said that God had given the most wonderful gift, and that it was women. And, we carry the load in the household, meaning we set the agenda. It doesn't mean like my husband vacuums. He takes out the trash. But I do all the cooking. I'm from Louisiana. I make a mean gumbo. I had red beans and rice, my favorite. So, but women, young ladies, you're the ones who will, I think they call it setting the culture in the household. You're the ones who have to make sure the kids go to church and, do those kinds of things. That's really not that dads need to be there, and it's not that they don't do anything. They've got their role to play. My husband was a good dad. That was one of the reasons I decided to marry him, is that he was a good father, and his children were successful.
Hello? Okay, it's a wonderful story. Would you like to share the gumbo recipe? If you could just whisper it in my ear.
I would love to, because I had a big pot for his birthday in October, and this guy comes in and he says, "Oh, I don't eat that. I don't do that." And so after his third bowl, I said, and his wife said, "Well, you need to give us the recipe." So I'm happy to share it, because it was my grandmother's recipe, and she had a little cafe in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I used to go and watch her cooking and all of that stuff. So I'm happy to share it because I want it to go on. I want to pass it on.
It's wonderful. So a question I have is, what was it like being a woman in the news entertainment industry? How was it different?
Well, Now there's a blurring of entertainment and news that I'd like to see separated. News at that time was very serious business. And once you could demonstrate your affinity for knowing what was going on and then being able to tell it, reporting, I want to do an article. I'd like to write some articles. I think that's where I need to go now. And one of them is about what I call the lost art of reporting. Reporting is not just standing in front of a building and saying what's behind me and all of the cliche terms we hear now that are, this was a grim discovery. Everything is a grim discovery. It is really processing the information that you see and giving people what really happened. And you don't have to make it a story. They tell us that news should be storytelling. Well, that's for the Spielbergs and the Spike Lees and all those people can tell stories, but news is not a storytelling. It's a processing of information, you as the conduit to the public. And I think one of the reasons we have people voting like they do in certain situations is because they're not well informed. You cannot be well informed if you're listening to people who tell lies. And people say, well, I want to know what the enemy is saying. I don't care what those people are saying. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's lies and it's irrelevant. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Fox. Now it's documented. It is documented that they emailed each other saying, I don't believe Trump won the election, but that's not what they said on television. And that is sinful. It's sinful.
So I understand that you, from what I understood from your presentation, that you got into the newsroom by an entry-level job, helping as like what it seems like to be an assistant. And in today's day and age, would you recommend for young girls and anyone interested in the business to go about it the same way?
I'm not really sure how to do it today. I'm not sure they have entry-level jobs. They've automated so much. I went back to CNN. One of the first black executives at CNN died a couple of years ago, and I went over there to do a video tribute for his funeral. I didn't even recognize the place. I didn't know one button from another. And that was the other thing. When I was coming along, I didn't have to worry about the technical aspect of the business. We had photographers, sound people. They had their role. I had my role. I could concentrate on the information. Now, you see reporters out there having to set their camera up and shoot themselves, and I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Maybe that's one reason that the information kind of gets muddled. So I say start at the bottom when and where you can, because that gives you the information about going all the way up. You know, you learn. Ted Turner's kids worked at CNN. One of them ran my teleprompter. Another one was a writer. He believed in having his children start at the bottom. So. Running out of questions?
No. I assure you, I have more planned. You said that it has just become muddled. It's nothing like how it was before. Do you think that it would be better if we would revert back to the way it was before with more people?
I think we need to stop making news as seeing news as entertainment. Thank you. Yeah, we need to be. See, there's nothing wrong with being serious. And now everything has to be fun. When they say, the kids don't like school because it's not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It's your job. It's your job to go to school and get educated. It's not a joke. It's not entertainment. School is not entertainment. News is not entertainment. It doesn't mean that you can't do some of the social things that we're doing, but we spend too much time. I mean, everybody knows Beyonce's business, but they can't name their congressperson, can't name the lieutenant governor, and don't test me because my mind is not gonna be with me right now. But what happened? Thanks. So it's we've got to get back to taking some things seriously and not being angry. We don't have to be angry all the time. I'm tired of being angry at people who disrespect us. I just know who they are. And I used to tell people I go over, under, or around them. When you tell me I can't do something, I just go around, over, or under. I do not let somebody's negative view of who I am stop me. And you can't either. You have to have confidence in yourself. And once you get that, like you're standing here and I mean you guys are handling business, once you get that, you're unstoppable. You know, Stan Washington, who's another fellow journalist, was saying that he had not seen the slave carriage, you know, the portrayal of slaves up there. And he said, Lord, what we have gone through in this country. I said, yeah, but they don't stop us. They can't stop us. DeSantis can ban all the books he wants. The folks can say they don't like CRT. They don't even know what it is, people. They have no idea what critical race theory is. They can talk about woke. They don't know what woke is. Okay? So if you're listening, I can't do that. No, don't let it stop you. Don't let their ignorance be the reason that you don't succeed. Okay?
So, if you weren't in the business of getting news out to people, whether it be writing articles or on TV or radio, anything, what do you think that you would be doing right now?
That's a toughie. That's a toughie. Well, I like to cook. And I'm trying to see if I would follow in my grandmother's footsteps and have a little cafe or something like that. You know, that would be creative for me. But I don't even see myself as doing anything other than trying to process information and get it out. Let me say this too, one of the main things I want to tackle again in an article is this systematic killing of black people, particularly men, at the hands of police. I thought it was going to stop after George Floyd. And everybody made a big deal about it, and the guy went to prison and everything, and now they're sending him to prison, but it keeps going on. Just this past week, there was a situation that happened, that took place. And so that is something I really, really, really want to talk about and get people to understand. They have to stop killing us. You know, it was bad enough when we were being transported and lynched, but now you have people with badges officially killing folks. So that's something that we need to address very vehemently, I think.
So, of all of the things you've reported about, which one was your favorite, if you have a favorite?
Okay, I was on the air when the O.J. Simpson verdict was read. When I read it, when it was announced in California. I was on the air for the Oklahoma City bombing. Does anybody remember that? You remember that? Yeah, that was horrible. This was a white guy who killed 160 people in Oklahoma um, because he just felt like it, because he felt like it. They did give him the death penalty though and carried it out, which is very rare. Let's see, what else have I covered? You know what? I did bring my little resume thing over there to see, because the mind doesn't stay with you forever. I need some Prevagen. You guys heard of Prevagen? Where you go and you have, and it helps your memory. I'm at the place where I think I need some Prevagen. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody that I was the chief word caller for the Georgia State Spelling Bee for about 20 years. And let's see. Oh, and I wrote articles for Living Space magazine, which was nice because it was not news, but E. Lynn Harris, I did his place. I wrote an article on his place before he died. And, this is something I'm going to let everybody pass around. I did a lot of newspaper articles. One talks about fashion and how I like to dress and everything. I'm always amazed in news now that the men have on suits and ties and the women have on stuff with no sleeves and cut to the here and up to the here, and I'm like, what? This is not a strip show. This is this is television news. It's supposed to be serious. Let's be serious. So I don't know that I have a favorite. Oh, I forgot to say about that too. I don't want to start crying. One of our closest friends. Has anybody seen the movie Good Trouble? Yeah. Did you see who was in the front of the Congressman Lewis? Me. John and Lillian Lewis were really, really, really close friends of mine, and I had the privilege of going on the 3-day celebration of life that we had for him in 2020. And I've got so many pictures of him in my phone that I really am going to write a book and share some of these pictures. I've known them since the 80s, and he was just a remarkable, remarkable human being. Very humble, very quiet, but spoke up when he needed to. And I just don't know. I think to myself, could I, knowing that the Alabama State Troopers are going to pound me and run over me with horses, could I cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge? Could you cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge knowing that the Alabama Troopers? I don't know that I have that kind of courage. I know it was a different time and a different era, a different place and space, but, what do we have the courage to do? And that's what that was my message from him. But I miss him. I miss Miss Lillian so much. And being with them has been a great part of my life. You saw me with President Clinton. I got to meet Clinton through them. The one thing I didn't do, though, was ask them to. I wish I had asked them to go to the White House, especially when Obama was there. How come I didn't ask? That was so dumb. You just think people are going to be around. You think they're going to be around, and the next thing you know, they're not. So I missed that opportunity. But I did go to both of Clinton's inauguration ceremonies and one of Obama's. But I didn't get to go to the White House. That's my regret. So maybe one of you get to go to the White House. And let me know how it was. We good?
Do you want more questions? Is
No.
it okay if I ask some more?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So
I'm fine.
everybody hears the soothing voice of a newscaster. And my question to you is, are you born with it? Do you learn it? How could I get it?
First of all, you have it. You have it. You and what's the young lady's name who's the president? Soraya. Yeah, you have it already, but you perfect it under this lady named Virginia Graham. She was one of the first television broadcasters, period. And so when she left, she started helping people learn how to have that resonance in their voice, talking from the diaphragm. The first news director, when I said in New York, when I said I wanted to be to get something, I said, I'm going to get something. And he said, Lynn, the word is get. G-E-T is pronounced as if there was an H in it, and it's get. So I had to learn the difference between my Southernisms, my African Americanisms, and all of that, and learn how to project and speak in standard English, and that's important. So I always say I'm bilingual. I can talk like us when I have to, and I can, present on television. But you have it. But when you get to a place where you want to perfect it, there are voice coaches out here who will help you to develop it.
And my final question for you, and the question I want to leave with the audience is, out of everything you said, all the inspirational things you said, the quotes, all the stuff that you gave us, the list of how to live life, what do you want everybody to go home and remember?
We love you. We really love you. We love how you look. We love how you are. We love you. And we're here as resources for you. But I want you to be able to pick up the baton when it's your turn.
Is our vice president of the Stewart Foundation, and he was so incredibly charming this morning. We love our charming fellows, don't we? My goodness, my goodness. And of course, Soraya Cornegay, who did an excellent job on the disparities in women's health. I experienced something here recently, Lynn, and Soraya just about had me in tears. For those of you who do not know, I am a breast cancer survivor. Yes. and boys and girls, they're going to come within. You're going to make some really dream. Hello, testing. Way great. So, with making a hard decision to have a bilateral mastectomy, that's a hard decision for a woman to make, right? But life happens, right? You make those decisions and you keep forging ahead. We don't choose our battles, do we? Right? And it is not about that battle. It is about how you go through it, how you journey through it. And as a result of suffering with breast cancer, there was a medication that I was put on, which was called tamoxifen, and then there was another medication after I went through, they sent me through menopause, that actually caused other issues in my body. So therefore, I have to see a gynecologist. And I share this story for a reason, because a gynecologist of another persuasion cared for me. And one of the things that they have to do once they identify some things that took place was a cervical biopsy. And that biopsy was far greater, so much more painful than even the breast biopsy. But let me share something with you, boys and girls. I actually have a new doctor. Her name is Jackie DeBose. And Jackie is an African American gynecologist. And when I learned that I would have to have a biopsy that morning, right, it's back again. So I was scared so much so I called my mom. Let me tell you something about a mom. No matter how old you are, your mom rocks you when you're a baby. She feeds you. She cares for you. And even when you're 50 years old, she'll be right there to rock you and care for you. So in that office, I got the news that I would have to do another biopsy, cervical biopsy, and it was so frightening to me. And my mom said, baby, if I knew, I would be right there. I said, this woman, Jackie DuBose, unlike the other gynecologist I had, she was so incredibly gentle. She numbed the area very, very well. She soothed me through the process. She had a conversation with me through the process. She got my mind off of what was going on in the midst of it. Now I need you to take a deep breath. Now exhale. Now tell me again about Milan. What was your oldest? And tell me about your granddaughter. And as she continued through the procedure, and she was so incredibly gentle because she recognized that we as black women, we matter too. We matter too. And I just want to give an incredible shout out to Dr. Jackie DuBose for caring for us, because when she cared for me, she cared for you all too. And don't let anybody treat you any kind of way. Not just the physicians. I'm talking about these fellows that you may sometimes see and date. I'm serious, young ladies. You all deserve the absolute best. And if they're not treating you like the queens that you are, walk away. Walk away. Now, you know, we in the Stewart Foundation, Lynn, we are poets. My co-founder, Hank Stewart, hopefully he's watching right now. He is an award-winning poet laureate. And so we have a poetry segment for you this morning. So I'd like to first bring to the stage our communications chair, Mr. Cameron Nelson. Come on up, Cameron.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I wrote this short poem for Women's History Month. All right, woman, the leaders of yesterday, today, tomorrow. Woman, always paving the way, always making my day, and always know the right thing to say. Woman, changing the game, empowering their names, and creating their fame. Woman, strong individuals, mothers, sisters, daughters. They know how to make ends meet. Woman, black, white, no matter the race, all women know what to do. All women know what they will do and what they will say. Woman, they tell you no lies, angels in disguise, always pushing me to rise. Woman.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Give it up for Cameron. Thank you, Cameron. Woman, you know it's so interesting, ladies. You know, we're born female, right? We grow into becoming a woman, but it is a choice to be a lady. And let no one treat you other than a lady that you are. And next, we have another treat for you. We couldn't do this without the women of the foundation. Next, I would like to bring up our incredible treasurer, our beautiful Miss Kennedy Jones. Come on up here, Kennedy.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Jones. I will be presenting to you a poem called Black. It was a poem that I made during our short tour. Hope you enjoy it. B. Bringing joy, happiness, and life to our amazing children. L. Loving and caring for our heritage and to our community. A. Applying pressure even when it's too much so that they can grow. C. caring for our community, and K, kind, creative, happy, and loving Black.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow. Thank you so much. That was wonderful, Kennedy. I appreciate that. And next, we found this. We heard about on the streets. You know what? You know, we keep our ear to the street because knowledge is what power, and networking is powerful. So we heard about this crazy, awesome speaker, Lynn, that was at another event. And when someone is that incredible, she needs a larger platform. So we want to bring this larger platform to Miss Arari. Come on up here, sweetheart, and share your poem with Miss Lynn. That's what mamas do. Can't make it. Come on. Give it up for mama. Come on.
Yes, because she's going to use her hands.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adora Nuehi. Today, I'll be reciting this poem called The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light, shade, the loss we carry? Just is. And yet the dawn is ours. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, unfinished. We, the successors of a country in time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves, raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only finding herself siding for one. And from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to forge a all cultures, colors, characters, gaze to what stands not in between us, but close the divide, because we know to put our future first. We our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, even as we hurt, we hoped, even as we tired, we tried. That will forever be tied together, victorious, not because we'll never again know defeat, because we'll never again show division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone should sit under their own vine and fig tree. No one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade. The hill that is in the bridges we've made, that is a promised glade. The hill we climb, only if we dare. Being American is more than pride we inherit. It's the past we step to, and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country, even if it meant delaying democracy. But while democracy can be theoretical, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For a while, we have our eyes on the future, but history has its eyes on us. This is just the era of redemption. As we feared its inconception, we did not feel prepared to be heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. While we once asked, how can we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, beloved but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interpreted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inherit will be the inheritance of our next generation. Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with right with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy. And change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we are left with. From every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will rise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limit hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers realized revolution. We will rise from the sun. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. And every known nook of our nation, and every corner called country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, there's always light. Brave enough to see it. If we're brave enough to be it.
Wow. Give it up for Tamara. Did she do an excellent job? Thank you, Amaria. Oh, look at the love. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you can be the light. You can be the change you want to see. Just like, Amari, how old are you, sweetie? You're 9 years old. Look at there. Isn't that precious? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Kennedy and Lynn, for you. Words are powerful, and you have been sharing your words with us for years. And we pray that many of those words have taken root, and many of those words have grown within us so that we can create a great harvest. As you can see, our future is not dim or grim.
No, it's not.
It is in great hands because we've got incredible students. Sometimes on the news, many of those stories that are told of our children are dismal. but we have some greatness in this room. We have some greatness in this city. We have greatness in this state. Our future is in great hands. And these youth that you've imparted into today, we thank you for sowing that seed, because we know that something is caught root. And there's some individuals that are in this place that they are going to go and they're going to grow and they're going to be so much stronger because you were present with us on this morning. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so very much. You know, boys and girls, time is something that we can't get back. And we thank you. We all have to thank Miss Lynn for giving to us her time. So if you would please stand to your feet and give Miss Lynn Von Van a big round of applause for all that she has done for us as women, our community, our people, and the world. Thank you so much, Lynn. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so very much. You may have a seat. So we've got a lot that's happening here with the Stewart Foundation. And with the Stewart Foundation, our major upcoming event is going to be our youth are putting on the Youth White Linen. And it is going to be an event that will be unforgettable. I want you to mark your calendars for July the 15th. And you will get correspondence from us because it is going to be packed with knowledge, fun. You're going to get some party on, right? Some incredible eats, right? We're going to have a full sit-down meal for each and every one of you. And we want you to come dressed to the nines. So the Carnegie administration is working diligently to put on a grand affair just for you. Once again, thank you all for joining us here at the Stewart Foundation. Have a great and wonderful rest of the day.